Greetings, everyone. It's me, Josh. And, the thing is, I am pro-life, and I'm also pro-gun, so I don't appreciate getting lectured about being pro-gun. Like, oh, we need to show victims of people who were shot to discourage people from buying a gun. Everyone knows when something like this happens, a tragedy happens, everyone feels remorse and sorry and sad that it happened. But it's not going to deter people from buying a gun because it's called self-protection for a reason. And the fact that I just looked up the statistics on gun violence, while it's 26,000, that's pretty high, but not as high as abortion. Abortion is 40 to 50 million. That's an entire generation that's just been exterminated for no apparent reason. So don't lecture me about firearms, because for one, I have every right to own a firearm. I am a law-abiding citizen, so if I decide to go buy a firearm and protect myself, maybe protect my family from possible threats, then I'm going to go do that. And there's nothing anyone can say or do about it. And my question was, why is it a law? Why is abortion a law? If it's women's rights, because, they had the civil rights, and they demanded all these things, but then it wasn't until 1970, 40-some years ago, is when they made it into a law. Abortion shouldn't be a law. I mean, in a sense, it shouldn't be a law. If it's a woman's right, then I have no problem with that. But again, there's other options when it comes to not wanting a child, and that's called adoption. There's millions of families out there who would love to adopt a child because they can't have kids themselves. So my question was, why is it a law? Did it need to be a law? Of course, somebody might say, well, what about guns? Well, why is there a law saying you can have one? Because it's in the Constitution. It was given to us by our founding fathers because they knew. And, our founding fathers came from Europe. They came to Europe to escape persecution, to escape that, because they saw the tyrants back then. And that's what the Second Amendment means, is to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government. But see, the thing is, when it comes to a tyrannical government, we're not going to be able to fight them off, because Homeland, they're just, I'm not going to say it, but it's just, if we had martial law, everyone who's a legal, law-abiding citizen would lose their rights to own a firearm. They would be confiscated. We would become taken over, and that's something we cannot allow. But it's going to happen anyways because it's leaning towards that now. You look at the shooting statistics, you're more likely to die in a car crash than to be shot by a gun. And usually when someone just goes on a mass killing spree, for one, they're not law-abiding citizens anymore. They are terrorists. And it doesn't matter what religion they are. It doesn't matter if they're foreign or domestic. It's called terrorism. They're going to do it regardless. And even if we banned all firearms, it wouldn't stop them. Because it seems like it's punish the law-abiding citizens instead of going after the real criminals, the ones that are arming themselves and have been armed for years. Oh, high-capacity rounds. That means you can shoot more. Well, here's the thing, though. You look at military-grade weapons, and by the way, none of us civilians can get our hands on military-grade weapons, so I wish they would stop calling them assault rifles, because they're not fully automatic rifles to begin with. And then you look at the instance where Fort Hood, a man who was a U.S.-born citizen who converted himself to Islam, went on a shooting spree, killing our military, shooting them in the back. So yeah, and you know what? They say, well, you can't carry a firearm on base. why the hell not? That's what pisses me off the most about it. And I'll tell you something else. I don't need a lecture on firearms because I know my rights. I know the laws, and it's like if I was carrying a firearm, if I was carrying a pistol, and it says no weapons, I will take my pistol and put it back in my vehicle and lock it up where no one can see it. Because if someone breaks into my car, then guess what? Somebody could steal my pistol. So honestly, if you really think people are walking around with AR-15s and any other AR-style rifle, you're insane, because guess what? There's no carry permit for carrying those around. You can transport them from point A to point B. When you buy them, you can transport them from the store, and you can transport them to a gun range. But you're not walking around in public showing off your rifle. That's just stupid. Common sense is disarm the criminals, not us. Because we had nothing to do with all these crazy incidents of this happening. How many times have self-defense people have shot someone out of self-defense? A lot. But guess what? The news media doesn't cover that, because when a gun saves lives, that's not important. We need death. We need destruction. We need mayhem. So, again, I don't need to be lectured on firearms. Or, oh, I shouldn't buy a firearm because you might go on a shooting rampage. Absolutely not. I would never do that. I would use it for my own self-protection and for protection around others. If I was in a situation like what happened, I would rather have somebody else armed than not be armed at all because of stupid rules and regulations at clubs and at other places. Well, then they need to hire security guards that are armed, because security guards and bodyguards and bouncers aren't armed with anything. So if someone came at them with a firearm, what are they going to do? Beat them to death? Better hope that they can. Hope they outnumber him or outnumber them. But reality check. Yes, there's been 167 mass shootings, but most of them, some of them actually ended up with 0 deaths and only injuries. But most people who were injured said if only someone else was armed and took this guy out, we might have survived. It might have cut down the death toll. So honestly, think about it. What's better? Self-protection or not being able to protect yourself against a threat that might just spring up out of nowhere? Alright, I have to go, so take care, and happy 4th of July to all my friends and my family. Have a safe one. Love y'all, and I will talk